Good afternoon. It's gonna be a quick, hopefully a short one, not too long. I know a lot of people are covering the court case this morning.
Kind of like a limited amount of time because
we do know they have a bunch of snow.
See the area that you're gonna collect.
Get him mad, so let me go find
illuminate. You can see that area, and then you have to turn the
court
lights on.
TVs.
So I was there waiting, ready with the swab ready to go. I see. So you're to make sure
lies on and off and held the swab.
You're not necessarily administering the booster, but you've got the swabs. Yes, you both got it. Are each one of these swabs the water that you put together in the boxes? Are each one of those sterile before you open them to take a swab? Yes, sir. And
it's
is
like
that also very important for you for taking a swab?
Just go over there and show Mr. Daddy some love. I'm trying to find court TVs.
And the toothbrush, are you aware whether or not those were sent on to a laboratory for examination? I believe the toothbrush was, but I wasn't aware at the time. I assumed everything that we were doing was going to end up in a lab. We can have just a little bit. The evidence and
I want to show you guys this. Good morning. Don't mind me, I look horrible, but I look horrible.
Things of that nature. That's how I was always taught, so that's how I do it. Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Do you have a preference on where?
So I rewinded a little bit so y'all can see who's on stand right now. So we got, I'm guessing he's a detective or a cop.
Yes, sir.
More likely he's probably a detective.
Toothbrush from the vehicle.
This was Harmony's toothbrush.
Alright, the ID is stricken and it is entered as a full exhibit.
I have to ask you guys really quick, who does she remind you guys of? What lawyer, the defense lawyer, who does she remind you of? Let me know in the chat or in the comments if you rewatch this. Let me know, because to me,
Yes, you may do that. That's fine.
she reminds me of Amber Heard's lawyer. Elaine. Aww. Who need a toothbrush? Ugh, I had to move a washer and dryer. I had to move my washer, you guys. It was hard. Okay, so he's opening up. So yeah, he's got to be the detective. Let me rewind just a little bit more. Let's see when he gets on the stand.
Need to get out early. Have a good night. Sorry.
Okay. You said get out early? Is that what was written?
That's what it looks like it was written. There's a lot of typos.
Okay, so here we're gonna go back to the beginning, and I'll just put it on. because the state had some good people up on their stand. So I really want you guys to get the full. Should speed it up. This should speed up a little bit better. I just wanted to know who was on the stand. I've already been crying this morning because I got some really good news. So, So I was like crying. It was so good. You guys don't see me ugly cry. Ugh. But yes, this lawyer, this defense lawyer, I swear to the oh my Jesus, that's Elaine. Who else don't think that that's Elaine? With the annoying questions over and over and over. Do you guys remember that? Elaine Chick used to do that over and over. The pouring of water on the microphone gets me.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
Okay, let's find out who these people are. So this is the cop.
Officer Penton, can you start by stating and spelling your name for the record? Officer Neil Penton, Neilpenttinen.
Officer.
And Officer Penton, how are you presently employed? I'm employed by the Manchester Police Department. How long have you worked for the Manchester Police Department?
Since January 2012.
And what is your current assignment?
I'm currently assigned to the Community Policing Unit.
And can you tell the jurors what that is?
Community Policing Unit, we deal with mostly neighborhood issues, homeless issues, anything outside of the scope of patrol. We'll negotiate things, do community meetings, things of that nature.
And what are your current duties and responsibilities on that Community Policing Unit?
I'm what's referred to as an area officer, so I cover a section of the city. When people call in neighborhood complaints or general issues that patrol doesn't have time to deal with, we go deal with those things.
You mentioned starting with the Manchester Police Department in 2012?
Yes.
What did you do for work prior to that?
Prior to that, I was a police officer with the Scottsdale, Arizona Police Department. I was hired there in April of 2005.
And when you came from Scottsdale to New Hampshire, did you go through the police academy?
I originally was Scottsdale. I attended the Mesa, Arizona Police Academy when I was hired in 2005, and when I was hired by the Manchester Police Department, I attended the New Hampshire State Academy, only the law package because I was already a certified officer.
Do you remember what year did you graduate? And Officer Penton, who else, if anyone, did you observe in the vehicle?
There were two children in the vehicle.
Did you obtain their names?
I did obtain their names.
And what were those two children?
Again, I'd have to look at my report to first name. Memory.
Please do so. You can't read from it. You can't read it out loud, but feel free to refresh your recollection. Just sit up and go.
They were identified as Seamus Montgomery and Declan Montgomery.
Did you note their relative seating locations?
Center passenger and rear right passenger.
You know which one was in the center and which one was rear?
I don't recall which one was where.
Is that noted in your?
It should be
Hi,
noted in my report.
Please, if you
everybody.
believe that looking at your report, refresh your recollection, please do so.
This was the first witness, or the first one I went
Seamus was in
back
the rear middle and Declan was in the rear right.
just a little
Did you see any
bit.
other children in the defendant's vehicle?
I did not.
And did you, during your response, did you actually look inside of the defendant's vehicle?
I don't recall if I looked in the vehicle or not. It was so long ago.
Other than full of people, how would you describe the defendant's vehicle?
That's what sucks.
During this vehicle, aside from having 5 people in there, there was clutter in the vehicle.
Is because when the case is so far behind, these witnesses and the people that are testifying, they're not going to remember everything that happened. That's why it's like a court case should not take this long because it just puts back people's memories.
So, Officer, I want to switch gears. I want to talk
So they
about
don't remember
that
anything,
because
you know?
several days later. So I want to turn your attention to December 2nd, 2019.
This is
Were
years,
at
you
the
know?
Manchester Police Department on December 2nd, 2019?
Yes, I was.
And on that day, did you respond to another accident involving the defendant?
I did.
And can you walk the jurors through your response? How you initially became aware and what you did after?
2019.
I was dispatched, I believe it was on Franklin Street, that general area, to a 2-vehicle accident. And again, the same thing. There were only 2 drivers in
in this accident. I immediately recognized Mr. Montgomery having in the vehicle, having dealt with him a few days prior. And again, did you follow your standard protocol after your response? I did. After you arrived at the location, I did. And who, if anyone,
So
did
you're
document
telling
the
me
defendant's
that
vehicle?
they had
I believe
Harmony
Mr. Montgomery was the only
where
person in the vehicle.
at
Do you
this
believe that looking at
point?
your report might refresh your recollection? Oh, yes, it would. Yes.
How do you not know where was Harmony at when this cop came?
According to my report, Gail Montgomery was the passenger of the vehicle. And during that response, did you note her relative seating location? She was in the front passenger seat. On that occasion, did you look inside of the defendant's vehicle? I don't recall if I looked inside or not. Did you note anything about the defendant's vehicle? On this occasion, it was the same vehicle I dealt with the week before. The only thing that I noted about it was the new damage on the vehicle. And I'm sorry, I want to go back to that November 29th response that you had. Around what time did you respond to the scene? Again, I would have to look at my report to refresh my memory the exact time.
He puts his glasses on, makes them all look.
That was approximately 3:53 p.m. And how about on December 2nd? What time did you arrive on the scene? Again, I have to look at my report to get the time that I arrived. It was approximately 10:43 a.m. No further questions. Thank you, Officer President. The defense may have some questions for you.
Morning.
Morning.
My name's Caroline Smith, and I do have a couple of questions for you. The first one involves the December 2nd accident that you were just talking about in 2019. And where was that accident?
I would need to look at my report to get the exact address.
Gosh, she looks like a
I have
lame.
it here. That was at Franklin and Market Street.
And that's right around the clinic at Franklin?
It is in the general area, yes.
Okay. And the one at on 1129, where was that?
That was South Wilson and Vinton Street.
Okay. Is that near a Burger King?
It is not far, I believe, approximately half a mile, if I would guess.
Okay. And on the, I don't mean to skip back and forth, so I'll stick with the November 29. You don't have a specific recollection of how you talked to people, right?
Not specifically, no.
Whether who was inside the car, who was outside the car when you talked to them, right?
No.
But if people were inside the car, you probably would have walked up to the car and talked to them.
Yes, that's generally what I do.
Okay. And you saw the two boys in the back?
I saw two boys there. I don't remember if they were inside the vehicle or outside of the vehicle.
Okay. And when adults are driving around with, when anybody is driving around with children in the car, you recall that you were given the ages of the children, right?
Yes.
One was over a year?
Again, I would have to look at my report for that.
Please do. And it had to stay under a year.
It's a note to know what the dates are, what their birth dates are as of the date.
She sounds like a lane, walks like a lane, talks like a lane, annoying like a lane. This is the Lane Smith.
Generally, it's against the law and would be up to the officer's discretion to write issue a summons for that event.
And the second child was under 3?
Approximately.
And what are the restraints to be on a child under 3?
Also in a car seat.
And how about a child with
Oh, thank you, Deb. I appreciate you. I was doing some laundry too, and
any child under a certain size.
my whole washer decided I know I didn't overstuff it, you know? And my washer ended up in the pothole that it's not supposed to be in, and it was heavy as hell. And I'm down there in the basement, the hubby's asleep, and I'm trying to pull this washer up out of this hole. It was horrible. I've had a rough morning.
Wilson. The 12-2 was outside the clinic.
Correct.
And the 12-2
That's funny
outside
though,
the
because
clinic
I'm doing
was,
laundry and you're
10:43.
doing laundry. That's cute.
Okay, still morning hours.
Yes.
And the 11:29 was in the afternoon, 3:53, 4-ish.
Correct.
Still light out.
I could swear this lady's lame.
Now, you also
And hi McCoy.
said that you gathered pertinent information about the driver in the car, like the license, registration, insurance.
Correct.
And Mr. Montgomery had a license, right?
He did provide me an initial license.
Okay. And as far as you can tell, it was valid, right?
Yes.
Because otherwise, there would have been a problem there too, right?
Yes, another thing I do is I will have dispatch do a driver's license status of any individuals who are operating motor vehicles.
Okay. And so then on the accident on the 2nd, there were only people in the front seats of the car, no one in the back seat, right?
That's what I documented. I don't recall the specifics of the vehicle, but that's what I documented.
Okay.
So
And
there's
again,
two
when you talked to the
accidents,
driver
and both
inside the car,
times Harmony was not there.
Yes.
So where would he
And,
have
if
had
the
her
passenger was inside
body?
the car, you would have walked out to the passenger side of the car, right?
I would speak to them either through the driver's side or depending on the situation. Sometimes through the driver's side, sometimes through the passenger side, but I will speak
Can
to
we
them.
connect
Okay. And
ties
you did not
with
see any
that? I
children
mean,
on
how do
that
we
day, right?
know?
You didn't see any boys in the car?
No, if I did, I would have documented it.
Okay. Oh yeah, seating on the, I'm sorry, I'm going back again when I said I wouldn't. On 11:29, you specifically documented the seating,
Correct.
and Seamus was in the middle.
I believe so.
So there would have been Declan, but you can check your report.
Yes.
And so Declan was on one side, Seamus on the other, and then you would have noticed Kayla, or been told that Kayla was on the other side, right?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Any objection to that? No. Sit down, you're excused.
Okay, the next guy that's coming up,
Did you call us next witness?
I was watching in another chat. This poor guy got made fun of because he has a hair bun. Come on, baby boy. Come on.
Thank you. Please raise your right hand, sir.
Come on,
You
maybe.
solemnly swear that the
Come
testimony
on,
you give this
baby.
jury will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God. Yes, sir. Thank you. Please feel free to have a seat. Mr. Chairman, thank you for coming today. I wondered if you would please go ahead and state your full name and then spell both your first and your last name for the
I
record.
was here
Matthew
yesterday
Gendron,
watching
M-A-T-T-A-T-W-G-E-N-D-R-O-N.
I was
And
coming.
Mr. Gendron, what town are you currently living in? Manchester. How long have you lived here in Manchester?
Okay,
What, 12 years or
it's
so?
always
And right now, are you working?
something,
Yes, sir. What type of work do you do in general? I work in a
It's
restaurant.
like it's
How long have you been
never
doing that work?
ending, things go wrong.
Most of my life,
I
I've been a
know,
doctor
Miss
for 5 years now.
Deb. Well, thank you for
Let me ask you, at one point in
coming.
2019, did you work at the Dunkin' Donuts?
Come on,
Yes, sir.
baby.
And where was that Dunkin' Donuts? Located at Beach Street, Manchester, New Hampshire? While you were there, did you ever work with somebody by the name of
Yes,
Adam
you know,
Montgomery?
like the washer
And with regards to Adam
completely
Montgomery, do you know
fell
who his
in
wife
that
is?
hole,
Gail Montgomery? Did you meet her
and
there as well?
I
Yes, sir.
didn't even have that much in it, but
And
maybe a
how
pair
long
of
did you work there
jeans.
with Adam Montgomery and Gail Montgomery? Probably around a year or
And
so?
I'm
How
trying
long
to
overall did you
pull
work
on
at
it,
Dunkin' Donuts?
and
I
it
think I worked
just
there 2
wasn't
years.
coming. And
Did
then my
you get the
dog
job? Were you working
comes
there when Adam
down,
Montgomery started working there? Or
scares the
was he working there
cat.
when you got there?
The cat and dog, my cat and dog don't get along. The dog wants to play with the cat. The cat hates the damn dog. Doesn't want nothing to do with the damn dog. Matter of fact, he's got some eye problems going on right now. I've been cleaning them. I'm gonna clean them before I have to go to work. But it's just like, it's never ending. So then I'm chasing the dog back upstairs. The cat's in the basement, pissed off and mad. This morning has been, ugh, and I hate doing laundry as it is because my basement's creepy.
Did you ever hang out with
So
him? A few
he,
times? Did you ever friend him on Facebook?
this
Yes,
guy
sir.
worked at
Send
Dunkin's.
messages back and forth to each other? Yep. Right. And back in 2019, about how often would you guys talk with each other?
I'm gonna have to take
Like, maybe a conversation every week or
ibuprofen.
so? Were you still working at Dunkin' Donuts when Adam Montgomery stopped working at Dunkin' Donuts? Yes.
I'm gonna turn.
Yes, sir. Is Adam Montgomery? Yes, sir.
I don't know which light I want to turn off because I want to read this piece of paper, but I don't want it to be too dark. That was super cold. Oh, much better. Sorry, y'all. I suffer with severe migraines. I get them really bad sometimes. Did I get them so bad sometimes that the lights hurt myself? Come here. Wanna come say hi?
With myself and Adam Kale? Correct. In regards to the conversation that you have there, do you remember that conversation? Yes. Remember having looked at those images at the time that you received them? Yes. Other than the fact that they're on paper and there's a little red sticker down the bottom of the first page, any sort of alterations or changes to those images compared to when you saw them when you first got them? That's my knowledge. In terms of the time and date that you remember getting this message from? Yes, sir.
Any objection? I'm sorry, you said no objection. Without objection. Thank you. The idea is stricken. It's entered as a full exhibit.
So this guy worked with
Have you,
Adam
walk us through
Montgomery
this exhibit together so we can understand this message that you got as he testified
text
from the
messages
defendant's
about
Facebook
getting a
page.
car
So
jump.
back in, let's go ahead to December 8th of 2019. Were you still working at Dunkin' Donuts on December 8th? I don't recall, maybe. And, well, with regards to, at that point in time, do you know if, oh, excuse me, you said that you're not too sure if you were. At the time of these messages, I was at a different restaurant. You were at a different restaurant, okay. So you're no longer working with the defendant at Dunkin' Donuts. All right. I'd like to go ahead and draw your attention. You can either look down or look at the screen behind you. And I want to go ahead and draw your attention to page 1 of Exhibit 11. And with regards to that, is this what you're seeing on the screen behind you? Can you just confirm for us that is page 1 of Exhibit 11?
No, I still work.
And I'd like to go ahead and ask you about the conversation itself. First of all,
I still work at the gas station. I need to get a new job. No, I still work at the gas station. It's just not enough pay. Only work. I'm off 3 days this week, so I only get part-time. What? But I only get 10.45, and like I said, I'm hardly ever there anymore. but wants me to be the assistant manager, and I'm like, no, not for $10.45.
When did they start appearing? After midnight? After
Make
midnight? on the 8th?
$10.45 an hour.
And specifically, what time did you first get the
My
very first message?
checks are like
12:13 a.m. at
$100.
12:13 a.m. Yeah. Okay. With regards to that particular time, could you go ahead and please read that message for us? The message that you received at 12:13 a.m.
I need to go back
Hey, need help
on
ASAP.
Indeed, but I
Please need to
have a
jump
record,
over
so
cable
it's
ASAP.
going to be hard.
And separate from that, did you get another message right afterwards, or excuse me, shortly thereafter? Yes.
Oh
And what time did you get
shit,
that
y'all
message?
can't see.
And what was the message that you got then? It says, I need a jump. My car died. We've been sleeping in our car, and our battery just died.
So this guy wants
Now,
a jump.
separate from that, did you then
He's trying to
start
give them
responding
a
back
jump.
to this Facebook message from Mr. Montgomery? Yes. All right. And what did you write? I don't have any cables. Okay. And then, what's the next message that you received in this conversation?
This is Kayla. Will you bring me to a store to get them? I'll give you gas money. We will literally die tonight.
And with regards to that message, at that point, when it says this is Kayla, who do you believe now has the phone?
I believe it was Kayla. That was a joint account they had together.
Okay. In general, when you received messages from this account, were you able to tell who it was from, whether it was from Adam Montgomery or whether it was from Kayla?
Not until they identified themselves.
And what about with regards to how they wrote, the type of words that they used? Did you notice a difference?
Not really.
Okay. What's the response that you wrote back after that? You received that message about we will literally die tonight.
I just got home from work. I have to get up early for work tomorrow. What's even open and where are you guys?
Okay. So to clarify, at this point when you're writing, you said I don't have cables. Was that true?
Yes.
Okay, so you didn't. I didn't have cables.
Shit.
And when you say when you move on about having to get up early for work tomorrow, you asked where they were. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. Why did you ask that question?
I was just curious as to where they wanted me to drive all around to at that hour.
Continuing on with the bottom part of page 1 here of the exhibit, I wonder if you could go ahead and what's the response you got to that?
It's okay, Matt. I don't know what is open. I'm sorry.
That IDKs, I mean, I don't know, right? I don't know, yeah. Okay. And what did you say back?
It's not your fault. I just don't have cables. That's how I know what's open.
Okay. And so at that time of night, did you know what was open or not? Right. It has to be a verbal answer.
Oh, no, sir.
Sorry, because the microphone's picking up from recording. I wonder if you could go ahead and turn to page 2 now and walk us through the next part of this conversation that you're having. After that, you said you didn't know what was open. What message did you start getting on the account?
I think either if mobile don't have them, the only place is Amherst Walmart. So I know you need to get out early. Have a good night. Sorry.
You said get out early. Is that what was written?
That's how it looks like it was written. There's a lot of typos.
Okay. Certainly, would you say that the typos that you're seeing here is different from what you saw before when you got the message saying that it was from Caleb?
I would assume it's from the same person, so.
Okay. Even though the
I
typos.
didn't identify the changed people, so I'm assuming it's still Caleb.
Okay. And so, what do you respond back when they say I'm sorry?
I said, it's okay. Try to have a good night.
Well, let me just. Excuse me. That's right. Let me just try to get to it. Say it's okay. Try to have a good night. And what's the response that you got back after that?
I'm gonna try. We can die in this weather. We can't, right? We can just really. I can't even read that.
Is it CILD? Are we reading that right? Okay.
And it says, hey, I'm at Colonial Village, and Kimmy said she has jumper cables.
Looking at that first line, I'm gonna try. Can we? I'm sorry. I'm gonna try. Can we die in this weather? And then is it we? How does they spell the next word after we?
Looks like CSNT.
Can't really see it.
Okay. Right. We can just. Is that VE?
That's what I got.
Okay. Just V. Really. And the CILD. What do you think that word is? Probably cold. Really cold. Okay. And then the line afterwards.
Hey, I'm at Colonial Village, and Kimmy said she has jumper cables.
Who's Kimmy? Do you know who Kimmy is?
Kimberly Frame?
And were you Facebook friends with her?
Yep, I also work with her as well.
Oh, they all work together, see? And they have
In
none of
regards to
these.
that, I'm going to ask you to go
Okay,
ahead and
wait a
go over to
minute.
page 3 now. And, excuse me, if you could stay at the bottom of page 2, I apologize, we can finish here. You said, can
Hold
Kimmy,
up.
Yeah, I'm sorry, can Kimmy jump you? Is that correct? What did they respond?
Back this train up. Wait a minute. Hold a minute. You're telling me. Oh, my boss just texted me. You're telling me all these co-workers, and when you work somewhere, you usually have that one coworker that you turn to about everything, even though they know you know that they're gonna backstab you in the back, which is what I have to deal with every fucking day, of being bullied or something not happening right, and one of them flipping out, and but still, all these people were around them, they worked with them, they seen him bring in this bag, and nobody seemed to look. Nobody. Nobody seen this. I
You don't have a car.
That's why I've been messaging everyone.
And just for clarity's sake, when you said she don't have her car, what was actually spelled?
Is that spelled? You don't have.
How do they not see this?
Fair to say, though, you interpreted that as her car, correct? And that's why I've been messaging everyone. If you could go to page 3 of the exhibit and kind of take us through how this conversation ended that day. After they said that she don't have her car, that's why they're messaging everyone. What was the next thing that you received the next message?
So do YIH not want to do that?
What did you interpret that to me?
I mean, do you not want to do that?
And what did you write back?
I don't really feel like running all over the place at this hour of the night. Did you try 24-hour road assistance thing?
What were you suggesting to them? You said 24-hour work.
Like AAA or...
Somebody's comment in here.
Have you ever used that service in the past?
Harmony has to be somewhere that Adam is familiar with, and he was too
They
paranoid.
respond after you suggested that they...
If there is anything left to Harmony, there might not be.
I'm assuming
And
it's
that's the
friends,
sad
like,
part is, by the time we find Harmony, it could be too late.
So, again, some of those words misspelled, correct? And when you were just reading for us, is that your interpretation of those misspellings?
Yes, sir.
All right. What did they say after saying we've messaged everyone else?
NOOBE, I'm assuming means nobody has cables or nobody has their cars.
Spelled cats. Spelled cats, but interpreted as cars. Correct. Okay. With regards to that, what did you say back when they were saying nobody has tables and nobody has cats? What did you write back?
I get all that. Roadside assistants can't jump a car. They have helped me before. They don't ask for proof of ownership.
So when you write that back to them, what's the response that you got?
Yeah, no one of us has insurance. Don't worry about it, man.
And what time was that final message that you get?
1:53 a.m.
I've had to show my ID once to get a car jumped and to have something done. I think I had to have a tire put on. So I do know they ask you for your ID and the policy number. They ask you for the policy number and your
Did you have
ID.
Facebook messages from Adam Montgomery or any other discussions with Adam Montgomery about what happened that night? Not to my knowledge. At any point in time, did you ever, was there a conversation with Adam Montgomery with regards to you not responding that night?
Also not to my memory.
Not your memory? Been a while. You just have a moment, please.
And it's ibuprofen, y'all. See? Ibuprofen. And it's in... I got the worst headache, y'all. And these people infuriate me because nobody's seen this dude bringing in a dead body to work. What the fuck is wrong with these idiots? I would notice a coworker bringing in something.
Did you know where he was living?
I did not.
And were you ever made aware that he was homeless at that time?
That was the first time I found out.
When did you find out?
Well, during that message that they were living in their car, I had no idea.
All right, thank you, Mr. General. I don't have any further questions for you. I believe defense counsel will have a few.
Oh God, defense counsel.
Just for the witness to be excused, please, Your Honor.
Maybe excuse.
Okay, now this one. Coming up. I do believe is... the detective? There's a lot of people here. A lot of YouTubers and different... I know Dolly was there at one point in time, but he snowed in at the hotel. So that's why he couldn't be there.
Please be careful, the wires as well.
Is this guy the drug dealer? Let's see.
Please go ahead and state your full name. Spell both your first and your last name for the record. Aaron Sweeney, A-A-R-O-N-S-W-E-E-N-E-Y. And Mr. Sweeney, what city do you currently reside in? Manchester, New Hampshire. Since second grade, so a long time. Long time, okay. And are you currently working? Yes. And where do you work? BJ's, right here in Manchester. And what shift do you work for BJ's? Third shift. Okay, so let me ask you, it's about 9:55. How long have you been up? I actually called out last night. Okay. Sure I got sleep. That's why I just want to make sure that you did get a good night's sleep. Yeah. Okay. If for any reason you need me to restate your question or anywhere to restate a question, just let us know. We'll be glad to do it, okay? All right. With regards to your work for BJ's, how long have you been working for them? Almost a year. Year. And prior to that, back in 2019, what sort of job did you have back then? I believe that's when I was towing. Okay. And were you towing for a company called Auto City Towing? Yes. All right. I'd like to ask you about a particular tow back on December 7th of 2019 at the intersection of Webster and Elm Street around 12:52 in the afternoon. Do you remember that tow? A little bit, not fully. Okay. Well, let me ask you, when you go ahead and you tow a car, can you kind of explain to the jury what sort of procedures that you go through when you're making a tow? Our office just calls one of the drivers and we're handing a piece of paper saying where we're going and what it's for, and then we just proceed to the location. What about when it's a vehicle that has broken down? Is there a way that Manchester Police Department might dispatch you out for a tow? Yeah, they call our tow company and then our guy at the front desk dispatches us out, unless the individual themselves call for a tow. No.
Oh shit,
Go
sorry,
straight to
y'all.
our front desk, and then we're handed a piece of paper, and then we go right to the scene. When you get to a scene for a tow, what are some of the very first things that you do, just generally? Just contact whatever vehicle's involved and find out what's going on and where it's going. And from there, when you do have to use a tow, what kind of tow truck are we talking about? Flatbed. Flatbed, yeah. And could you go ahead and please explain to the jury what's the process you have to go through to put a car onto a flatbed, as compared to, say, putting on a car where you're just kind of putting two wheels up and the back two wheels are rolling? We just get in a good spot, we hook it up, and then we pull it up. That's it, really. And what about when you have to do documentation of this tow? How do you document the tow that you're doing? We have a separate tow slip, like the drivers use, and we just write, like, general information on it. Repeat and receive it.
God, my head hurts.
Go ahead and show you what's in the Mark States Exhibit 3D for identification purposes only. And I'd also like to show you what is page 6 of this Mark States Exhibit 3C for identification purposes only. Just have to take a look at those two documents for a moment, please. Yes. Okay. And let's go ahead and start with State's Exhibit, page 6 of State's Exhibit 3C. How do you recognize that? This is the tow slip that the drivers fill out. So if you did a tow, is that the slip that you fill out? Yeah. And what about State's Exhibit 3D for identification purposes? What's that? This is what is typed out by the gentleman at the front desk. Front desk? Honestly. Yeah. So that's not something that you yourself fill out? No. With regards to page 6 of State's Exhibit 3C, on that particular entry fills out that information? I do. And when do you fill it out? We fill out just a very little bit before the tow. Once we get to the tow, we can fill out more, or if we have to, we fill it out once we get back to the lot. And by the time that you are done with that tow, when you drop the car back off in the lot, at that point, you have to have the rest of that filled out. Yep, so the rest of this is filled out, and then we give it back to the gentleman who types up the other one. And with regards to, other than the fact that if you look at State's Exhibit 3C, page 6, other than the fact that it's obviously on the original papers for photocopy, do you notice any other sort of changes or alterations from when you would fill that out? No. Do you recognize your initials there? Yes. And did you fill this one? Yes. At this point in time, Your Honor, I'm going to take this back and the state is going to move page 6 of State's Exhibit 3C. We move for identification straight to page 6 and to make the child exhibit 3C and 3C.
The objection? To page 6. So should it, if the exhibit is more than one page, should it be a separate exhibit? Like 3D? Maybe?
There they go approaching. Let's get past this guy. He don't really. I mean, he does tell us.
Yes. Other than the fact that it's here reading it, and some changes and alterations. No. Thank you very much. Just my policy. Trust right here.
Okay. The idea is stricken on 3A. It is entered as a full exhibit.
Give this to you in half. Right there. And finish it up.
The objection? No objection. Yes, ma'am.
And just go ahead and give it to Luke.
I get laundry soap, go to a grocery store tomorrow.
Just for the briefest of moments. And is that a copy of State's Exhibit 3A that you have in front of you? Yes. Fair to say it's kind of hard to read at that size, isn't it? Is it easier on the paper? Yeah, I can read it. Well, I'd like to go ahead and kind of go through a little bit of information that you filled out on this form, and you can tell us a little bit more about the tow. First of all, where did you go to make this tow? Corner of Webster and Elm. Corner of Webster and Elm? Yep. Okay. And when you ended up towing the car initially, did you bring it straight back to the lot, or did you bring it somewhere else first? I brought it over to the gas station that was on that same corner. The budget gas right on the corner? Yes. Okay. Why did you bring it there before bringing it back to the lot? So they can get some things out of the car. Do you always do that? Only if it's safe enough, or if there's a safe enough area to do it, I will. If not, I just direct them to come back to the shop. Okay. When you were there, where did you park in the gas station parking lot? Just close to Elm Street, like out of the way of the pumps. Right. And at that point, did you allow some people to get some stuff out? Yes. Okay. Who got material out of that car? I just only remember two gentlemen. Two gentlemen? Yeah. Okay. Excuse me. And once you've towed a car for somebody to get things out of it, what do you have to do? Do they just kind of climb up the side of the truck?
Oh,
or,
my
no,
ear
so I did was I
itches.
extended it back out and I tilted it down so they can go up the ramp. Okay. And then did you see the two people do that? Get things out of the car. Where did they put those things? In another car. Do you remember what that other car looked like? No. And the two men that you saw do this, do you remember what they looked like? No. What kinds of things did you see get taken out of the car? Do you recall? I don't remember. Typically, when people clean out their car, like especially on the side of the road, I just stay by my truck, give them space. I periodically look over to see if they're done. And once they were finished, where did you bring this car? Back to our lot at Auto City. So let me ask you, with regards to the car itself, what kind of car was it that you towed? Sebring, as the slip says. Okay. And let me ask again, you filled out the slip on the day of, is that correct?
Sebrings are not the greatest cars, and neither are Dodge Intrepids. The transmission gets metal shavings in the engines. My mom had a Chrysler Sebring once. It was a nice car, but...
And let me ask, is that, you earlier looked at State's Exhibit 3B, is that, you said that was a type-up version? Yeah. Is that where this information will go? Yes. What is some of the information in general? I'll ask you about specifics in a minute, but in general, what is some of the information that you record? Just the VIN number, the make, the model. Okay. VIN number, so is that a vehicle identification number? Yes.
A best car was my...
No. Okay. Do you record a reason to make this tow? Yes.
Is my
and what about your own
Honda.
mileage you're going to make a tow? Is that important to record? Yeah, we've always been told like the mileage from the start of the tow until we get back to our lot. So what I'd like to do now is go through the different sections of the tow slip with you on State's Exhibit 3 and have you explain what we're looking at, the information you filled in that day, all right? Okay. I'd like to go ahead and start focusing on the very top section there. Could you go ahead and just tell us what's the time that you made this tow? 12:52. Okay. Morning or afternoon? Afternoon. Okay. And who was it that had requested the tow? Manchester PD. Is that typical? Yeah, normal. All right.
I'm
What
so
was the reason that you joined
serious.
the disabled vehicle? And the intersection itself, did you say where that was? Webster and Elm Street. Pardon me. Where did you bring the car to? Obviously. And where's their tow lot? On Commercial Street, right in the same building. Okay. As our office. Same building as your office? Yeah. If you could go through as well the information of the owner of the car, the driver. Who do you get that from? The driver, if they're there. And what information did you write down in this report? Adam Montgomery. What address did he give you? 77 Guilford Street. And this information would have come from him? Yes. All right. Next area I'd like to ask you about is a phone number. Did you get any phone number to contact him? No. Did you ask for one, or would you have asked for one? We usually ask for one, and if they don't give us it, then we don't expect them to come back. Don't expect them to come back. What does that mean? For the car. At that point, it's believed that the car's going to be abandoned? Yes, I think that's what we assume. Okay. All right. Let me ask you about some of the other information. How do you, the information that you write down about the car itself? I know you said the VIN number. Can we see that on the telephone?
Yes.
Okay. And what about the year of the car, the make of the car?
That is on there as well.
Okay. And could you again just give us the year, the make, and the model of the car?
2010 Chrysler Sebring, silver.
Okay. Was there a license plate on this car?
Yes.
And what
My
license
mom
plate?
had a green one.
4206.
Was that an Hampshire plate?
Yes.
And the color of the car? What was the color?
Silver.
All right. I see that there was something else that was initially written and then crossed out.
Yep.
Okay. Who would have done that cross out?
Me.
All right. Looking at some of the other information on this, I believe you just read the license plate for us. Is the VIN number on there as well?
Yes.
All right. And could you go ahead and read the VIN number for us, please?
1C, 3C, C, 5F, B1, AN, 137502.
Thank you. I'd like to talk about the mileage that you write down. Is that your mileage?
Was the service, where was the mileage and service time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So that's not the car's mileage. All right. And the service times. What are the two times that you put down?
1252 is when I left, and 139 is when I got back.
Okay. And when you say left, left where?
Left a lot.
Left a lot. Oh, left a lot to go make the tow. Yeah. Okay. Great. And then separate from that section, I'd like to ask about the reasons. What were the reasons?
Well, I
that you
wonder
checked off
what
for why
they
you took the car?
pulled out. If that guy could have seen what they pulled out, we would know where
The last
Harmony
section I'd like to ask,
could
this
possibly
particular slip
be.
is in your remarks section. You wrote two things. Can you
Harmony's got to be in this area.
And when you say no registration, do you ask for registration?
Garfield
Is that
and
where you practice when you make a tow?
Yeah, that's just to get the most accurate information.
Dunkin' Donuts,
And about the phone number. Same thing. Same thing.
the other restaurant that he
You're
worked
still
at.
All right. All right. And did you go ahead and write down your initials on that? Yep. Okay. What were your initials?
AS.
If you could just go ahead and look at the screen behind you for a moment, can you show us just point generally where your initials are?
Right there, that's the driver.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh, you missed it. Ah!
So earlier you stated that when you made this tow, there were two male individuals that helped get things out of the car. Let me ask you, when you were making this tow, did you see any children at all?
No.
None whatsoever? No. Thank you. I don't have any further questions for you, just when you believe defense counsel may have.
No children whatsoever.
Doing pretty good.
No children whatsoever were seen.
The police get to that particular scene, they just told us.
Shit. I went back too fast. Sorry guys, I went too soon.
With regards to working for your health, afford.
Here we go. This is the one I want you guys to see. Sorry. Whoops.
Picture of the wires that you're walking through.
The car.
And Mr. Tucker, if you please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony will give this jury will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. Thank you, sir. Please feel free
The
to
car was banged up in the accident, you guys. You guys should see the accident
and spell your first and
photos.
last name for the record. Yes, sir. Joseph Tucker, Josephh, and Tucker. Okay. And Mr. Tucker, are you currently employed? I am, yes, sir. Okay, and where do you work? Catholic Medical Center. How long have you been working for them? I just started back up in January. Okay. And what do you do for them? I'm the cybersecurity manager. And prior to working for Catholic Medical Center as the cybersecurity manager, where did you work? Solution Health. Solution Health. Health. Okay. And what was the time that you were working for them? April 2022 until January 2023. And prior to that, and I will ask you to just, if you can even a little bit closer to my phone, I'll have you speak up just a little bit so I can hear you. Thank you. With regards to working for your health, before that, where did you work? Manchester Police Department. And again, I'm going to have you just kind of keep your voice up a little bit if you can. I'm sorry. How long did you work for the Manchester Police Department? Since 2015, so 8 years-ish. Roughly that long? Yes, sir. Okay. And were you working there in January of 2022? Yes. All right. I'd like to ask you a couple of questions about when you were a Manchester police officer. First of all, were you a full-time certified officer? I was, yes, sir. Okay. And did you graduate from the New Hampshire State Police Training Academy? I did, yes, sir. When was that? 2012. Yeah, 2012. Yeah. Okay. Do you remember your academy class number? 163. 163. All right. And let me ask you, with regards to your work with Manchester Police Department, were there any other sort of law enforcement jobs that you had prior to that? I worked for the Laconia Police Department before I went to Manchester. How long in Laconia? 2012 to 2015. 2012 to 2015, and then Manchester from 2015 to 2022. Yes, sir. I retired full time from Manchester PD, and I did about a year as a reserve officer working in cybercrime. Okay. I don't know if you heard that. Okay. Yep. That's what I'm asking about. Is all your experience there. With regards to your different duties in the Manchester Police Department, could you explain to us some of the different units that you worked at, different assignments that you had
Let's see
prior
what
to
he has
you?
to say. He shows some evidence. He shows how he puts on his gloves.
Midnights for all three shifts, midnight 4 to 12 day shift. I had a K9 Saber. We were primarily on 4 to 12. I created the drone unit, so I was for the drone unit, and then one of the detectives at that point, sir. Yes, sir. I was fortunate enough, I was a cross between general detectives and then also the cybercrime unit. So I assisted in both, like digital cases, ICAC tips, cybercrime tips, and then I also did general caseload for detectives. Okay, so what was that? Anything from, financial crimes, fraud, homicides, violent crimes, insurance. How long did you do that? I believe I went to detectives in 2021. Yes, sir. So, detectives, do you have any work in doing processing, specifically looking at physical items, see if there's any at the time? Yes, sir. And in January of 2022, were you asked to assist other officers in doing a search of a 2010 Chrysler Sebring with New Hampshire registration 4368206? Yes, sir. Where was that search done? At the Manchester Police Department, and we have a vehicle processing bay, which is right outside of where the Sally Port is. I imagine we might hear some testimony later on about this bay, so could you go ahead and describe it for the jury, please? Sure. The bay itself, you can only access it from the secured back lot where we park most of the police vehicles. There is a two-garage Sally Port. The left side used to have like tactical vehicles, and then the right side is where we would drop prisoners off or transport prisoners. Just to the right of that is a single bay garage door that opens up, and then there's also a side door to access it. Both are secure. Your ID has to get in. And then inside of that bay, it could fit, probably fit a full-size pickup if you took the pickup and then sideways. So it's a good size garage. Yeah, and then we had tools in there for disassembling vehicles, and then we had evidence supplies down there. So anytime, if it was inclement weather or it was a long search, you could utilize the bay. Okay. Let me ask you, what was your role during the search of this 2010 Chrysler Sebring with the New Hampshire registration 4368206? I was Detective O'Leary. He's now Sergeant O'Leary. He was, we joke around calling the incident commander, but he was the guy that was in charge of all the crime scene processing. So I was more or less there to assist him. And what were some of the things that you did to assist him, just generally? Generally, collecting of evidence items, the log, if there was any pictures, we were blue starring, there's a process to try to obtain any blood samples from the vehicle, so it's not silly, but you have to turn the lights off for that, so I was the light guy, things like that. The light guy, so literally turn the lights off, turn the lights on? Yeah, and then you'd have to set the camera for 30 seconds, 60 seconds exposure to take the photo, so I would have a flashlight just so we could still navigate a little bit without the direct light. So were you the one administering the blue star, or that was somebody else? That was Detective O'Leary. All right. Let me ask you, what roles do initials play at the Manchester Police Department when you're labeling evidence? Generally speaking, when I initialed something, it was an item that I collected. Okay. And what were your initials? JMT. So if you collected an item today, if you were going to collect this tissue box, and this was going to be an item of evidence that you went ahead and entered in at the Manchester Police Department, how would you have labeled this? If this is your first item of the day. Sure. The box itself would have been JMT1, and then any items inside the box, like tissues, would be JMT1-A-B, and such something. Okay. I could see that. So something like let's say a backpack, JMT1, and then if you have an item in the backpack, you want to 1A, signifying that item A came from 1. When you were assisting in doing the search of this car, were there other officers there to help you as well? Besides just yourself and Sergeant O'Leary? Initially, there was a lot of in and out, a lot of people checking in. All right. And with regards to the items of physical items, the potential items that you collected, do you remember how many that you directly took and initialed in the way that you just described for us? 8. Yes, sir. So that would have been what, JMT1 through JMT8? Yes, all right. Was one of those JMT7 a pink toothbrush? Yes.
Oh, toothbrush.
Yes.
They're gathering photos here, so I don't know. I'm not sure if he puts the gloves on.
States Exhibits 4 through 10, and then separate from that, I'd like to go ahead and show you what's States Exhibits 104 through 106. At this point, I'll leave it for identification. And then take it on. Yes, sir. This photograph. Yes, sir. Let me go ahead and assist you. With regards to, let's go ahead and start with States Exhibit 10. What's that photo? This is the photo. If I keep it down low, we're going to get first. Okay, sorry, sure. Let me ask you this. I'll just go one shot. For States Exhibit 10, do you recognize this? Sorry. States Exhibit 5, do you recognize that photograph? Yes, sir. All right, what is that photograph for? It's the evidence processing bay that I was describing earlier with the silver Chrysler Sebring in there. The one that you searched? Yes, sir. Okay. And other than the fact that it has a red sticker on it, does that picture show the car as it appeared to you at different times during your search of the car? Yes, sir. Okay. And put that one to the side for right now. Separate from that, I'd like to go ahead and...
I think this part of the car is where it's really banged up.
No, okay.
I think.
That particular vehicle, do you recognize the vehicle? It looks like the same vehicle, but without seeing the back, it's hard to say. Okay. Let me ask you, I'm going to direct your attention to the top right-hand side of the windshield in that particular vehicle, and then have you make a comparison. Okay, sure. So, Tucker, what I'd like to do is have you go ahead and look, if you would please, the top left-hand side of the windshield on States Exhibit 4 in comparison to 10, and look at the two windshields as a comparison between the two. Yes, sir. It's got the same numbers. Okay. And with regards to, also, I'm going to have you look at the lower left part of that windshield underneath the hood on States Exhibit 4 compared to the lower left part of the windshield on States Exhibit 10. Yes, sir. Okay. And other than those particular numbers match? Yes, sir. Could you please ask me about the next exhibit? Yeah. Going to the States Exhibit 6. Do you recognize that? Yes, sir. Okay. What do you recognize it to be? It's the same vehicle, but it's the
Moving too much, man.
Of the vehicle, but the doors have been removed.
You have to carry that microphone around?
Was there anything that was inside the car? Yeah, like all the car parts and stuff? All the car parts? Yes, sir. Okay. And let me have you, are those reflected in that photograph? Yes, sir. All right, if you could go to the next photo then. I'm referring to State's Exhibit. Exhibit 7. For State's Exhibit 7, do you recognize that photo? Yes, sir. What is the photo of? The front of the vehicle, the driver's seat, passenger seat, but looking in on the driver's seat. So looking in. Okay, looking at the driver's seat. So where the steering wheel is? Yes, sir. Okay. And does that photo show the car as you saw it when you were searching the car? Yes, sir. All right. If you could go to the next exhibit, please. Should be State's Exhibit 8. Yes, sir. What's that a photograph of? Same context, except from the passenger or from the driver's front. It's the driver's rear. All right. So so right behind the driver's. Yes, sir. Okay. Does that photograph also accurately reflect the vehicle as you saw it the day that you helped out with the search? Yes, sir. Okay. And the next photograph. And that particular one, State's Exhibit 8, I believe. Yes, sir. All right. What's that photograph of? It's the trunk of the vehicle, sir. The trunk of the vehicle. Yes, sir. If you could please direct your attention from 9, and also directed to State's Exhibit 3, 4. And look at those two. Do you recognize, let's start with State's Exhibit 103. Do you recognize that photo? Yes, sir. And what's that photo of? It's the trunk of the vehicle, but with more items on it. Okay. Is that how the vehicle initially appeared?
The trunk of the vehicle.
We updated, sir. Okay. And does it also show the registration for the car there? Yes, sir. Okay.
So I'm sure they got DNA.
4? Yes, sir. Okay. And what is that photo of? Just another close-up of the trunk area with all the items there. Okay. What kind of items are there? Like steering components? Looks like the front CV shaft and the cross member. Okay. Cross member? Yeah, like the front frame. Like the cross member. Oh, okay. Okay. Working our way around the car, I'd ask you to look at State's Exhibit 105 and see if you can tell us a little bit about that particular photo. What's that photo of? The right rear, the passenger side rear, with the door open, looking in. Did it also have car parts in it? That side of the car? Yes, sir. Can you see that in the photograph? Yes, sir. And is that accurate from when you saw it, when you helped with the search? Yes, sir. And if you could go to the next smaller exhibit there, yes. It's 106. What's that photograph of? The passenger front seat. So now we've worked our way around the car to the passenger front seat. Yes, sir. Right front. And does that appear as you saw it when you helped do the search? Yes, sir. What were some of the items that were in that seat? More car parts, broken glass, snow, just trash. And does that accurately reflect how it appeared when you did the search? Yes, sir. Thank you. One last question for you, separate from these. The last one I believe that we haven't talked about with regards is State's Exhibit 10. Could you tell us what that's a photograph of? Pink toothbrush. Okay. And do you recognize that toothbrush? Yes, sir. Okay. How do you recognize it? It was in the back of the seat, sir. In the back of this car? Yes, sir. Okay. And is that a toothbrush that you seized and put into evidence? Yes. Okay. And do you remember what was the initials that you gave for that? JMT7. JMT7. Yes, okay. Thank you. With regards to the photograph, does it look, other than the fact that it has a red label on it and somebody on the photograph has put their initials, other than that, any sort of changes or alterations to it from how you remember it looking when you collected it? No, sir. At this time, Your Honor, the State is ready to take you back. State move to go ahead and start the investigation. Specifically. 7, 6, 5, 4. Well, this one State's Exhibits 1, 4, 5, 6, 3.
Yeah, like
No
snow.
objection to the 100s, and no objection to
You can barely see it, but you can see it when you're outside.
It may already be, but we would have no objection.
Uber.
Oh, school, but mommy got a migraine. We're trying to go over this case.
I got Tylenol.
I just took an ibuprofen, baby. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Oh God, there they go approaching again. Jesus, criminy.
Mid-morning break now. I remind you, don't discuss.
Hold on, y'all. They want to mid-break, so...
When you do these swabs in the trunk, how do you collect those? So we have sterile water. We take every quart into the cap. Each cotton swab in the package container. So you glove up. Usually, I would write all the details on the box. There was a little cotton swab box. So I'd write. It's folded. You assemble it. So it's easy to write on it before. So you write JMT1. Set it up. Take all the information. Put on your gloves.
Yes.
Get the water. Get everything ready. And then at that time, because we were using Blue Star on the truck, there was kind of like a limited amount of time because you have to have the lights off to see the area that you're going to collect. So you spray the Blue Star, it would illuminate, you can see that area, and then you have to turn the lights on and click it. So I was there waiting ready with the swab ready to go. So to make sure I understand this right, you're not necessarily administering the Blue Star, but you've got swabs as you open up. Are each one of these swabs, the water that you pick out of the boxes, are each one of those sterile before you open them to take a swab? Yes. Okay. And is that also very important for you for taking a swab, to double glove and to make sure you're using sterile materials? Yes. Those 4 swabs and the toothbrush, are you aware whether or not those were sent on to a laboratory for examination? I believe the toothbrush was? Okay. I wasn't aware at the time. I assumed everything that we were doing was going to end up at a lab. Okay, just one, please, Your Honor.
Ruh-roh.
Sir, I've got one last question I want to ask you. The trunk liner itself, in regards to the 4 swabs that were taken, did you also collect, I believe you said at the very beginning there were 8 evidence items that you took. Could you please tell us what JMT8 was? What was the last thing that you cut out? I don't remember. Okay. If you had a chance to look at a report written from the search that day, do you think I might refresh your recollection as to what the 8th item was? Yes, sir.
Uh-oh. We're gonna look at its report.
Copy of this, just a big stamp page 111. direct your attention down.
I'm going to need you to raise your voice so everybody can hear you, please.
Mr. Tucker, I'm going to go ahead and hand you what's been marked discovery page 111. I'm going to direct your attention down to the bottom of the page. First of all, after having a chance to read through the document, I'm going to ask, is that a write-up of what the search was that you were a part of for these photographs and for your taking of evidence? Yes, sir. I'm going to have my question for you is going to be, what was the eighth and last thing that you collected? I'm going to have you, you said you didn't remember. I'm going to let you go ahead and refresh your recollection. If it's refreshed, let me know. Just look up in the minute. Yes, sir. There's a, yes, sir. Okay, sorry. And do you recall now what JFT8 was that last thing? Yes, sir. What was it? Piece of the trunk liner. Yes, sir. So, how did you get or create, recover that piece of the trunk liner? Oh, we cut it? You cut it? Yes, sir. Okay. What did you use to cut it? I don't remember. And then after it was cut, first of all, you have shown us what you do with gloves and try to present collections in a sterile manner. Would you have done that for trying to collect what JMT8 was, the cutting of the trunk liner? Yes, sir. And would you have logged it into evidence the same way you did the other ones, JMT1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Yes, sir. Thank you. Mr. Tucker, I don't have any further questions for you. I believe the defense counsel will have a few. Yes, sir.
Oh boy, she'll have a few, alright.
Good morning, Detective. I don't believe we've met, but I'm Jamie Brooks with Home Defender, and I represent Mr. Montgomery. I'm also going to ask you some questions about that search you conducted with then Detective, now Sergeant O'Leary. You understand? Yes, sir. Yeah. And this search was on January 1st. Your participation in the search was on January 1st, 2022. Yes, sir. It was the Chrysler Sebring, right? Yes, sir. And it was already in the Manchester Police Department bag when you saw it. Yes, sir. The pictures that were shown showed what were like the guts or the parts of the vehicle inside, right? Yes, sir. But eventually, those items were all removed from the interior of the vehicle. I think so. It wasn't by me. You mentioned there being, I don't think you used the word butcher paper, but there was paper that O'Leary put down, correct? I don't know if it was O'Leary, but there was paper down. And the purpose of the paper being down was to put the parts of the car that were in the interior on the ground. Yes, sir. Because not only were you looking for items such as toothbrushes, but you were also looking for latent bloodstains, correct? Yes, sir. And you mentioned Blue Star. Blue Star is a latent bloodstain reagent. Yes, sir. It reacts with hemoglobin. Yes. It can detect the presence of blood that cannot be seen by the naked eye. Correct. It can detect blood that has been cleaned up. Yes, sir. It can detect minute amounts. Yes, sir. And Blue Star was applied to the entirety of the exterior of the vehicle. That I don't know. I wasn't there for that. You weren't there for that? No, sir. Were you there for the? But you weren't there for the collection of swabs, right? For the trunk, sir. Just for the trunk? Yes, sir. All the same, you were there for when the Blue Star was applied to the exterior of the vehicle. I don't remember that.
Yeah, but I don't remember where they showed the pictures at, because I remember I watched this a little bit on Dolly's, and they showed evidence of the car and the accident, but now I don't remember.
And that's from the same. Discovery?
Found it. So we want
And that was part of the reason why you were there, right? Yes, sir. Part there as well. To the hemoglobin in blood. The reaction that we get, I would identify as the color of the tissue marks in the front of the car.
this should show us the car. We should be able to see
Yes. The top blue or the lower?
the car
How
here.
would you describe that blue? What words would you use? The chemiluminescent. Chemiluminescent. Okay.
Luminescent they use to
How do you apply
get
Blue Star
the
to something, whether
blood.
it's an object or a large area? The process, it comes in, there's a plastic container, spray bottle, and then a small little foil packet that has 3 tablets in it. We open up the 3 tablets, put it in the plastic container, and we agitate it. We swirl it around, not to shake it vigorously. And once the tablets have dissolved, we adjust the spray nozzle on the nozzle so that it's a fine mist, not a stream. And then once we have the fine mist, then we start spraying whatever we suspect to be an area where blood could have been or is. When you say that you spray it on, can you kind of describe how you would spray it on? Is it just, me in my house, spraying some Windex on glass, or how do you spray it? What's the method you use? Using the Windex example, it's not like you're using Windex where you're spraying it directly on the window. The method is you want to be about 2 feet away from the object. Spray it slightly above it so it kind of falls down onto the object. You're not spraying it straight at it. There's more of a mist in the air so it falls down on the object. When you go to use Blue Star, I take it, how many times have you done that yourself? In my detective career, probably 15 to 20 times. When you go to do that, is there a certain process that you follow each time? When you say, okay, I have to go use Blue Star, I'm going to go get reagents. What are the first steps that you do before you get to that step of mixing and agitating? The first steps, I look at the item or the area that I'm going to process, to kind of develop a game plan to figure out how we're going to do this. Then once I determine that whatever the area is that's going to be processed, I'll go mix the Blue Star, as I mentioned before. While that's agitating, I'll get the camera ready. For the camera, we have special functions that we have to set up on the camera. In my time detectors, I had 1 camera that was set up, so I would just have to press a button, so it would automatically go to that function. I would double check to make sure that it was on that correct function. I know we had altered the program before. I guess I should say before you use the Blue Star, 3 directions, just to make sure that nothing had changed from the last time that I used it. And other times I do it stay consistent with how I use it. We have a camera ready. I also get a tripod, because the camera has one tripod.
This next the next photos of the next car that they're talking about is a white car.
Still for 30 seconds or longer as it takes a picture. All right, I'd like to ask you about a couple of those different components that you just explained to us. I think you said that you read the directions every time. Why do you do that? Just to make sure that I'm doing it properly. Okay. And also with regards to the camera and the camera settings, why is that so important? The directions say that it has to be a certain set up a certain way so that the lens is open wider when it's taking the photo. Also, I apologize for mentioning earlier. We do this in total darkness or with a little bit of light, so that's why we have a long exposure. I would have a flashlight on my person, so the lights are shut
This
off.
guy's very smart. Look at this guy.
Whatever object we're doing, make sure
He's
the camera's set
very,
properly,
very
and then adding just a little bit of
smart.
light to the area. It's my understanding that the camera will take in whatever little bit of light there is, and be able to take an appropriate photo. So when it comes to lighting, do you actually use other officers to help you? Have somebody on the light switch? Yes, I do. Okay. And you said also that you set up a tripod. Why do you do that? Because the exposure, once you click the button to take the photo, it's going to be 30 seconds. So if it's on a tripod, the camera's not moving. I'm not able to hold the camera for 30 seconds without any type of vibration or anything like that. So that's why I keep it on a tripod. It takes the photo of the reaction that we see it. Once we see the reaction, the camera's kept in the same location. The settings are readjusted to a normal photo, and then take a second photo to show that same area if there was a reaction, what it looks like. So you're taking a photograph if there is a reaction, and then separately the lights come back on. I just want to check I got this right. And you're taking a photograph of the same spot with the lights on, so we can see what that looks like in regular light. When you spray on the blue star, then does it physically change the color? Why? Why is that important? We take a second. Where those, when you are, it depends on size of these tissue boxes that are here, okay? And how many times am I? I know we get to put the camera on top of the table part. Same process as far as taking. I would take a photo, a small piece.
Trying to get to the photos, guys. And of course, the internet want to act funny.
In your experience, so have you seen some of these false positives before? Yes, I have.
Let's see.
And it's got the swab at one end. They come to a package, it's sealed. We open the package, we take one swab out at a time. We would use sterile water if the sample that we were trying to collect was a dry sample. If it was something that was wet or moist, we could just use the swab. Dip this, and just like a little swirling motion.
Hold on, folks.
Don't have to get the entire swab soaked in whatever the item is, but usually you want to get the.
When you say the tip of the, I'm sorry, you would put the water in the cap. Okay. And with regards to the rest of the other areas of the car, did you find food wrappers in that car or food containers? Yes, I did. Okay. Yes, wrappers. Let me ask you, were you aware whether or not this car came from a... And is that the trunk of the vehicle?
Yes, it is.
Let me ask you, were you aware whether or not this car came from a tow lot before you saw it?
Yes, it was.
I'd like to also move on to State's Exhibit, 5, if I could please. One of the larger exhibits, or you can look on the screen behind you. Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes, I do.
Okay, how do you recognize the car?
It's missing the wheels in the front of the vehicle and the driver's side doors.
Now, you stated at the time that you applied Blue Star to, I believe you said to all of the exterior. So does that include all the hood that we can see here?
That's correct.
All right, did you also apply it to the roof of the car?
Yes, I did.
Windshields?
Yes.
Okay, I see that we've got 2 doors missing here on the driver's side, but what about the passenger side doors and the exterior of those doors?
Yes, I did.
What about the trunk that we can see sticking up in the back of this photo? Did you apply it there?
Yes, I did.
From the Blue Star that was applied to the exterior of the car, did you receive any positive reactions?
No.
Wow.
So, with regards to the condition of the car, I wonder if you could go ahead and talk to us a little bit about that. What did you feel the condition was when you saw it?
It's obviously been in a junkyard for a couple of years. There was missing, we'll see in the picture here, the wheels, the doors, all the guts to the vehicle were inside of the vehicle. There was no engine. Rear tires were missing. Inside, there were a lot of rust flakes, dirt, dust, and it had like a moldy scent. Some areas were wet, and still had some snow and ice in it. That's correct.
Let's do the missing parts here. Did you also notice whether or not the engine was missing?
Yes, it was.
Overall, what was the smell of the car?
There was the musty, damp, gross smell.
Okay. I'd like to go to Exhibit 4 for a moment, please. You recognize this photo?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what's that photo of?
The same vehicle.
The secret. When you applied the Blue Star, what appeared as possible positive tests in the trunk area of the car? Did you have any possible positives there?
Yeah, we saw a couple areas that had some possible positive reactions.
And was that on second or was that on the first day? That was on the first day. Who was assisting you that first day in collecting those swabs?
Detective Joe Tucker.
And you said Joe Tucker?
That's correct.
And those 4 swabs, were they all from the trunk area on the interior or were they on the exterior?
Interior.
Once those 4 swabs, did you photograph them and apply the Blue Star the same manner that you described for us a moment ago?
Yes, I did.
And once you collected those swabs, where were they sent?
The interesting one.
Did you also use any tools on swabs? The jurors heard this question before, something called a hemastick.
Yes. What is a hemastick? Hemastick is a small strip of paper that has one end, a small portion of it has some sort of chemical on it. It also reacts to the hemoglobin in blood.
And did you use any hemasticks here?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Did you use them on any of the spots where you had those the Blue Star positive results?
When we had the Blue Star positive results, I think I did.
Well, I don't want you to necessarily guess. So let me ask you if you had a chance to look at your report, or did you write a report on the search of that car?
Yes, I did.
Right. And if you had a chance to look at that report, would that help refresh your recollection as to whether you used hemastics on any of those 4 swabs from the truck?
Yes, please. Yes, I do. This is the report that I did that documented the search of the press receiver. If you had a chance to look at that report, do you think that might refresh your recollection on whether or not you used team sticks on any of those 4 swabs that were taken from the trucks? If you could please go ahead and do that, take your time. And then, does that refresh your recollection that that is taken? Use team sticks on from the 4th truck? Yes. How many? 4. Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Another testing method after you use blue stuff.
He has
We
to
just
have the
got a backup,
paperwork back before he
just to
can
kind of reconfirm,
answer.
in the event, in my experience, we have had some that do come out tested for positive, so this way we can at least explain to the lab if we need to that we tested positive for Blue Star and then also on the Heme stick. And why is that important to do? You say you do that for the lab. Can you kind of explain to us why? I think they ask us if what we've done for processing. Just I guess my assumption is it's on their end, so they know how they can process it further, so they know if it's been treated by other chemicals or what other chemicals have been used on it before. And generally, when you do an application like this of some sort of testing, do you tell the lab what you did so they know what may or may not be on there? That's correct. With regards to the hemosticks, can those also present a false positive sometimes? Yes, they can. Have you seen that in your experience? I have, yes. And can you explain what the hemosticks look like? I believe you said that they were little strips of paper. How small are we talking? They're probably 2 inches, 2.5 inches in length, an eighth of an inch wide. Very narrow. Very, very narrow, yes. And then one end, it's got a different material on it. I can't remember if it's a different color, but it's obvious that that is the end where you, whatever reaction or whatever you want to test against on that end. Did you use some hemosticks on other areas of the car, interior, clothing on the car, items on the car in general? Yes, I did. And generally speaking, where did you send the ones that came back these presumptive positive from the hemosticks? Where did you send those? As a mistake one. Did you have any that you tested with hemosticks that actually came back negative for Blue Star first? That's correct, yes. And did you collect swabs from there as well? Yes. And where did you send those? I just kept those at this point. Okay. Later on, do you know if any of those were sent to state lab? I don't recall. Did you also, I believe you said before that you had, I know you didn't have, were you ever involved in a search of 77 Guilford Street? Yes, I was. And what was your role in that search? I was asked to Blue Star a little section of the basement area. A section of the basement area. That's right, okay. And other than that, did you have any other role to play in the search of that Guilford Street address? I had to go back another time for secondary search using Blue Star in a different area of the basement. And I also assisted.
I just can't believe he still didn't show up to court either. Adam did not show up to court.
Was the second one in the basement as well? Also in the basement. And did either of those produce any positive results? No, they did not. What about the search of 644 Union Street later on?
Which is bullshit. He should have been there.
Should
Should have been there.
What was your role that day during that search? My role was just mostly being an observer. If they identified something that's going to be taken as evidence, they would physically collect it from where it was, pass it off to myself, and I would bring it down to another representative from the FBI who would complete the evidence log and collect that piece of evidence and do their own documentation.
So the tow truck driver, the other cop did not see Harmony anywhere.
That you applied Blue Star, if I was correct, you took 4 swabs. Were those 4 swabs from areas that tested presumptively positive? Yes, under Blue Star. Okay. And did you see any other indications back there that you deemed to be false positives? Yes. And how many do you remember? Maybe 3 or 4. I think 2 or 3 in the trunk area. 2 or 3 in the trunk areas. Okay. And with regards to the rest of the other areas of the car, did you find food wrappers in that car or food containers? Yes, I did. Okay. Just one or multiple? I found multiple. There are like snack packs, some baby bottles, some baby food containers, and other miscellaneous wrappers for food. In your search of the car, were there a large number of pieces of evidence that were taken out that were signed with your name? BE01, BE02, BE03, things like that. Okay. And those ones that all that you had seized, and then again got logged in under your initials. That's correct. This time, Sergeant Leary, I don't have any further questions for you. I believe we may need to see the court for a brief moment, but then defense counsel will have a few.
She just reminds me of Elaine.
I think this is a good enough breaking point for you all to break for lunch, so I'm gonna.
He's
for
pissed.
lunch. I remind you, don't discuss the case with each other or with anybody else. Make sure that you are keeping an open mind. Don't do any research. Don't look up any media. And we'll see you after the lunch break. If you would return at 1 o'clock, please. All rise for the jurors.
He's like, man. And he didn't really want to do it, you guys. He really didn't want to.
All right, everybody, hold up. Okay, give me 1 minute. You may sit down. Every people that are starting to be with.
It's so crazy, y'all. The fact that we heard the cop say there was just Shameless and the other child. And that was for the tow truck driver as well. Said he didn't see any kids. And that 2 dudes were helping loading everything up in the car. So therefore it tells me that the 2 Adam took somebody
Okay, so
with
just
him
wait-
to dump that,
wait a minute, and
to
I'll get you
dump
signed copies
Harmony,
of,
to dump Miss
I'll
Harmony.
get you copies of both the letter and the order for Tricia and each of the parties picked, so just give me one.
I don't like to call her, or name it just as a body because she has a name. She was a human. She was a little girl who had an unfair justice, unfair life, and a roller coaster of a life is what this little girl had. This little girl went through hell. I just know that this little girl had not a fair chance in life, and what makes me mad is the friends said to Harmony that Adam gave them the same story, that Harmony went back to her mom's. And none of these people thought he would do what he did. And it kind of almost fooled us. Almost. And I honestly do believe, I agree with the comment earlier, Adam was very paranoid about the whole, when the cops came for the car, they took, with the accident and when the car broke down. No kids were reported from the there was no, for example,
The testimony you give this jury will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you. Please feel free to have a seat. Ms. Frank, as we're being recorded here today, would you please state your first and your last name for the record and spell them out for us?
this woman worked with,
Thank you, Ms. Frank. Appreciate that. With regards to New Hampshire, do you live in the state?
Yes.
Okay. And generally, what town do you live in?
Meredith.
Meredith. And what are you doing for work right now?
I'm working healthcare at a hospital.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that?
Almost 3 years.
How far have you gone in school?
I'm actually back in school now.
Oh, what do you study?
Where?
What? I'm sorry, what are you studying?
It's kind of long. Healthcare administration.
Okay. And how long have you been, or how long do you have to go before you get a degree?
Like 3 more years.
3 more years. Yeah. Pardon me. So I'm going to ask just one question at a time, so I'd ask you to please listen carefully to either my question or any other counsel's question that you get asked. And if I'm talking too quickly or if you don't understand my question, just let me know. I'll be happy to restate it, okay?
Okay.
All right, thanks. Prior to where you live now, did you used to live in Manchester back in 2019?
Yes.
And do you know somebody by the name of Adam Montgomery?
Yes.
Did you ever used to work at a Dunkin' Donuts on Beach Street in Manchester?
Yes.
Dunkin' Donuts. Here we go,
5
Dunkin'
years.
Donuts.
Okay. Let me ask, you also know the name Kayla Montgomery?
Yes.
And what was, when you, have you met Kayla Montgomery?
Yes.
What's the relationship between Kayla Montgomery and Adam Montgomery when you first met them?
I met them at work. We worked together. First I worked with Kayla, and then Adam worked with us too.
With regards to Kayla and Adam, did you ever meet Adam's daughter, Harmony Montgomery?
Once.
One time?
Yes.
Did you ever spend time with her?
Yes, I babysat her and the 2 boys, or 1 boy at the time, at my house.
At
Once.
your house?
Yeah.
And would this have been back in 2019?
Yeah, I think it was the summer of 2019.
I'd like to ask some specific questions for you about Adam Montgomery, specifically about beginning in the winter of that year, at the end of 2019, all right?
Okay.
All right. Did you ever bring Adam Montgomery jumper cables to try to start a car?
Yes.
How many times have you done that for him?
Once.
Just the one time?
1 time.
How did he reach out to you for help?
He either called me or it was on Facebook. I can't remember which. And he said that their car had died and it was freezing out and they wanted me to come jumpstart their car. I told them no, but they kept begging and I felt bad. So I went.
Okay. So you said maybe they messaged you or reached out on Facebook. Is that right? Did you have a Facebook account at one point that just went by the name Kimberly Frame?
Yeah.
And is that the account that you might have messaged you on?
Yeah.
What time was this? What time of morning was this that Adam reached out? Or you got these messages asking for a jump?
It was in the middle of the night. I just remember that. It was late.
So did you go?
Middle of the night.
I did.
Where did you go?
It's behind Elm Street in, I think it's Colonial Apartments.
Okay. And is that at the south side of town, west side, or north side of town?
It's like right down the road from my house on the north side.
Okay. When you saw them, do you remember what kind of car they were in that night?
Yeah, they were in a blue Audi.
Now, when you went to meet them, first of all, what was the weather like that night?
It was cold. It was freezing.
So when you got there, who, if anybody, got into your car?
I pulled up and I don't remember the beginning, but I don't think I brought it like a jumper pack that my ex-husband had. And a good Samaritan came by and him and Adam jump started it. And Kayla jumped in my car with the 2 boys and we just blasted the heat.
To keep them warm? Yeah. So you said it was Kayla and the 2 boys?
2 boys.
Okay.
So no Harmony.
Harmony at
No
one point.
Harmony at
Was
that
there?
point.
Did she get into the car as well with Kayla and the 2 boys?
No.
Did you see Harmony at all while you were there that night? And I believe you said a Good Samaritan came along. Do you remember who that is, or you know who that
That
is?
was just somebody in the complex saw us struggling.
Okay. And I guess I just last one more question. After that one time, did you ever jump a car for them again?
No, I was distancing myself from that.
Do you remember the exact day that this occurred in the winter of 2019, end of 2019? Okay. Just that it was very cold time, is that right?
So she got smart and started distancing from themselves. So here we go. We have another one from Dunkin' Donuts. Doesn't know it. Did not see Harmony.
With regards to
So he had to have did something to her before he seen.
Letting herself or defecating herself in the hands.
I don't think so. Not him.
Not him?
No.
Okay. With anybody else?
Maybe with Kayla, but I don't remember.
Okay. Well, and I don't want you to guess. So if you remember, you remember. If you don't, you don't. That's okay. And so you're saying your testimony is you don't?
I don't.
All right. All right. Thank you very much for your time. I have no further questions for you. I believe defense counsel may have a few.
Thank you.
Counsel, I'm gonna move.
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead. You recalled that whatever car that you jumped, you thought it was a blue Audi?
Yeah.
And you know from before that Adam used to drive a Sebring?
It was a silver car.
Okay, this was not the car that Adam used to drive around, right? And you remembered this way back in 2021 when the police first asked you about it, right?
Yeah.
And your memory, even the first time you talked about it, was a blue Sebring. Blue Audi.
No, I think I might have told them I think I told them it was the silver car, but it was the Audi they were in.
Okay, so you're really clear about that, huh?
Yeah.
So what changed when you first said the Sebring and then sort of recalled the Audi?
I just couldn't remember the time frame since it was so long.
Okay, so I understand that, but what changed your recollection of the type of car?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, I think you said at first you told them it was a Sebring, but then the blue Audi when they first started questioning you on it, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what it was that made you say that it was the blue Audi?
No.
Okay, thank you. Any further? You may sit down, Counsel Brooks.
Another fucking person that didn't see Harmony alive. Okay, so there's another one.
Clogged drains. Without disposable shower drain hair catcher, this innovative mesh.
So we got so far 3 people who don't know who Harmony was not seen. So I wonder if he took her body and did something around with that area because. Okay. My clothes are still in the dryer. Okay, let me go back, guys, to see here. So we got testimony from a couple cops, the detectives, the tow truck driver, and none of them said they seen Harmony. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let me know. Let me know what you guys think, where Harmony could possibly be anywhere in this world right now. We have no idea. He knows, and the person that went with him knows. Because I could have swore Kayla said somebody went with him, with Adam, to dump the body. But I do want to go over a few things. Did you guys know that 1 through 9 men experience sexual abuse and harassment? Also, what state has the highest rate of assault? If anybody knows, let me know. Guess what state it is. The question is, what state has the highest rate of sexual assault? We've done this when we first started the channel of Truthseeker. So I just really want to know what you guys think about it, that question. So If you think you know what it is, jot it down. And maybe I'll do another poll on it again. But, so 1 out of 9 men are involved in sexual harassment or assault. 1 in 3 women also, so, let's see here, let me go through my notes. These are the statistics on, sexual abuse, harassment, assault. And this was back when I first started. As you can see, we don't use this notebook anymore, so this is old. Well, this is basically up out of 2018, 2019 maybe, I want to say. But the highest rate that they had stated of sexual abuse is Alaska. Can you guys believe Alaska is the highest? And then it says 1 out of 26 men have experienced or have completed or attempted RA rape. About 1 through 9 men were made to penetrate someone during his lifetime. And additionally, 1 to 3 women and about 1 to 9 men experienced sexual harassment or assault. And the highest rate of that crime was Alaska. Highest rate of 148.7 grapes per 100,000 inhabitant. I can't remember that word. Down from 1 to 161.6 in 2018. Alaska tends to have the higher crime rates than other states. And a long part is to do with lack of law enforcement. Okay, but so if Alaska's short on law enforcement, but Alaska has all of these officers and patrol officers that does the national wildlife, the hunting, they have such a bigger enforcements for those. Why instead of building up, why in the hell would you have okay, like you don't need to have thousands of different cops. Have you guys ever watched that episode where if you don't have a hunting license in Maine or if you don't have a hunting license in Alaska, they have all those TV shows? Instead of having all those, why don't they get officers and have a bigger law enforcement? It states right there. States right here. Highest crime rate due to the lack of law enforcement. And especially in rural, isolated communities. Effects of what are some common mental issues? Definitely can affect a lot of things. And then there's different types. I know we're in the sexual abuse right now. Domestic violence. Okay, so out of okay, so we got a tow truck driver, We have two friends, ex-employees that have not seen Harmony. We have two detectives or cops that have not seen Harmony. Right there, I mean, that just shows you right there up with all these people. If you look,
The dust in my apartment was so
nobody
thanks to
has seen
previous renters.
Harmony.
My friend recommended Homoglow, and I decided to give them a try.
Especially this guy. He has it. This guy. He did not see Harmony
Will be the truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties.
whatsoever.
Yes, you do.
You can have a seat and make yourself comfortable. Drink some water.
Whoops. You have all these people that did not see Harmony. So if I counted up, let me know, guys, if I'm wrong. We got the two friends that did the car jumps. We got two detectives or the cops, so that's 4 people right there, which are the co-workers too. I classify them as the workers. So there's 2 of them right then and there.
And Officer Penston, how are you presently employed?
I'm employed by the Manchester Police Department
How long have you worked for the Manchester Police Department?
since January 2012.
None of these people
What
seen
is your current
her.
assignment?
I'm currently assigned to
None.
the Community Policing Unit.
Can you tell the viewers what that is?
Community Policing Unit, we deal with mostly neighborhood issues, homeless issues, anything outside the scope of patrol. We'll negotiate things, do community meetings, things of that nature.
And what are your current duties and responsibilities on that community policing unit?
I'm in what's referred to as an area
I
officer, so I cover a section
counted.
of the city when people call in neighborhood complaints or
We
general issues
count
that the police
this
have to
guy.
deal with
What's his
those things.
name?
You mentioned starting with the Manchester Police Department in 2012.
Yes.
What did you do for work prior to that?
Prior to that, I was a police officer with the Scottsdale, Arizona Police Department. I was hired there in April of 2005.
And when you came from Scottsdale to New Hampshire, did you go through the police academy?
I originally was Scottsdale. I attended the Mesa, Arizona Police Academy when I was
I
hired
was
in
gonna say
2005,
his name,
and when I was hired by
but-
the Manchester Police Department, I attended the New Hampshire State Academy.
We got
for
this
law
guy
practice
who
before I
has
started.
not.
Do you remember what year
He
you
didn't
graduated?
see Harmony.
New Hampshire, it was 2012.
And sorry, I have 2 questions there. Did you graduate from the Police Standards and Training Academy?
In New Hampshire, New Hampshire was just a law package.
And in Arizona, did you graduate from the Police Standards?
I did. I graduated the Mesa, Arizona Police Academy in 2005.
So in total, you have 19 years of law enforcement experience?
Correct.
I want to switch gears, Officer Pensman. In your current assignment with the Manchester Police Department, do you have occasion to conduct traffic accident investigations?
Occasionally I do.
And can you walk the jurors through what your standard protocol is when you're responding to such an accident?
Standard protocol when I respond to an accident, when I arrive on scene, I'll do an immediate assessment of the vehicle.
Was there 2
I will
accidents?
immediately ask if anyone needs medical attention. If they respond to do, I'll get the fire department there or whatever medical needs. If not, then I will immediately ask the drivers for their information, their driver's license, insurance information, their phone number, and as well as the registration of the vehicle. After that, I will ask who the occupants are of the vehicle and get their names, dates of birth, phone numbers, addresses, all of the accident report.
So you mentioned speaking to the drivers of the vehicles, and then you mentioned getting the vehicle occupant information. Where do you usually get that information from?
I'll ask whoever's there. If it's I'll speak to each person individually and get their information. Unless it's a child, then I'll ask the adult who's on scene with them.
Do you typically speak to every individual, other than children? Do you typically speak to every individual in each car?
Yes, I do.
And what's the purpose of that?
To get a brief synopsis of what occurred in the accident from different perspectives.
And do you document these investigations?
I do.
How do you document them?
I will immediately take notes on a notepad, and then I'll fill out an accident exchange form for the individuals involved in the accident, which will include insurance information, phone numbers, addresses, and which is required by the police department. And then when that's all done, I will make a traffic accident report documenting everything from the scene.
And is it necessary during, and we're still talking your standard protocol, is it necessary during these investigations for you to see every individual involved?
Yes, I will need to see who's there.
And can you walk us through how that occurs? How do you see those individuals? Do you order them all out of the vehicle or something else?
If it's a minor accident, most of them will just stay in the vehicle. If they're on scene, I'll ask who was in the vehicle and take a look at each person. You do have occasions where people will show up who were involved in the accident, might be related, but I will make sure that I look at each person.
Officer Pensman, I want to turn your attention to November 29th of 2019. So with that in mind, were you working in your official capacity as an officer with the Manchester Police Department?
Listen to this,
Yes,
you
I was.
guys.
And are you familiar with someone named Adam Montgomery?
Yes, I am.
This is key.
On that day, I was dispatched to a traffic accident at South Wilson Street in Benton involving two vehicles. And Mr. Montgomery identified himself as the driver of one of the vehicles.
Now, you mentioned these reports that you read following your investigation. Did you write a report following your interactions on that day?
I did.
And have you had a chance to review that before you came here to testify?
Yes, I have.
The accident that we're talking about from November 29th, 2019, does that accident stand out to you in your memory?
It does.
Why is that?
Because Mr. Montgomery was involved in another accident a few days later, and in my police career, that's the only time I've had one individual in 2 accidents within the same week.
Okay, we'll talk about both of those accidents. I want to focus on November 29th, and I think you said that stands out to you.
He was in
Can
two
you walk the
accidents.
jurors through the initial dispatch that you received and your response to the scene?
It was a 2-vehicle accident. I arrived. I was working in a patrol capacity that day. I showed up. There were 2 vehicles at the scene. Multiple individuals in one of the vehicles, and there was just one driver in the other vehicle. I went through the standard protocol when I arrived at the location.
And when you say multiple individuals in one of the vehicles, whose vehicle was that?
That was Mr. Montgomery's vehicle.
And were you able to identify the individuals that were in Mr. Montgomery's vehicle?
I did.
Who was in Mr. Montgomery's vehicle?
In Mr. Montgomery's vehicle, I believe Kayla Montgomery identified herself as one of the rear passengers. There was an individual in the front seat. There's an adult female in the front seat. I would need to look at my report to refresh my memory of her name.
Do you believe that looking at your report, reviewing your report, would refresh your recollection?
Yes, it would.
Your Honor, may I proceed?
So 2 accidents this guy was in. And both times this guy said Harmony was nowhere. Nowhere. November 29th. There was 2 accidents and this guy involved in it.
The front passenger identified himself as Tabitha Scott.
And Officer Benson, who else, if anyone, did you observe in the vehicle?
There were two children in the vehicle.
Did you obtain their names?
I did obtain their names.
And what were those 2 children's names?
Again, I'd have to look at my report to refresh my memory of
Please
those.
do so. You can't read from it. You can't read it out loud, but feel free to refresh your recollection. Just look up in your head.
They were identified as Seamus Montgomery and Declan Montgomery.
He puts his glasses back in his pocket.
I did.
And what were they?
So November 29th, there was only 2 children in the car. The following time,
Was where?
Is that noted in your...
It should be noted in our report, yes.
and another accident that he said was unusual for one person to be in an accident within 2 weeks, or in 2 times, within 1 week.
Seamus was in the rear middle and Declan was in the rear right.
Did you see any other children in the defendant's vehicle?
I did not.
And during your response, did you actually look inside of the defendant's vehicle?
I don't recall if I looked in the vehicle or not. It was so long ago.
Other than full of people, how would you describe
If
the
you
defendant's
would have looked in the car, you would have found Harmony, right? Possibly.
Is that something that you saw?
I did.
Could have Harmony been in the car at that time?
December 2nd of 2019. Were you working in your official capacity with the Manchester Police Department on December 2nd of 2019?
Yes, I was.
And on that day, did you...
If Adam don't tell us, we're never gonna
And can you walk
know.
the jurors through your response, how you initially became aware and what you did after the information?
I was dispatched, I believe it was on Franklin Street, or in that general area, to a 2-vehicle accident. And again, the same thing. There were only 2 drivers in this accident. I immediately recognized Mr. Montgomery in the vehicle, having dealt with him a few days prior.
And again, did you follow your standard protocol after your response?
I did.
After you arrived at the location?
I did.
And who, if anyone, did you document in the defendant's vehicle in that occasion?
I believe Mr. Montgomery was the only person in the vehicle.
Do you believe that looking at your report might refresh your recollection?
Oh, yes, it would.
This makes me mad that if he would have checked, he might have would have found Harmony. Because it's November 29th.
According to my report, Kayla Montgomery was the passenger of the vehicle.
And during that response, did you note her relative seating location?
She was in the front passenger seat.
On that occasion, did you look inside of the defendant's vehicle?
I don't recall if I looked inside or not.
Did you know anything about it?
On this occasion, it was the same vehicle I dealt with the week before. The only thing that I noted about it was the new damage on the vehicle.
And I'm sorry, I want to go back to that November 29th response that you had. Around what time that day did you respond to the scene?
Again, I would have to look at my report to refresh my memory of the exact time.
10:43 was the exact time.
That was approximately 3:53 p.m.
Oh shit, 3:50.
And how about on December 2nd? What time did you arrive on the scene?
Again, I have to look at my report to get the
December 2nd.
That was approximately 10:43 a.m.
Okay, just a moment.
Okay, December 2nd, November 29th.
No further questions.
One was at 10:43 a.m., one was at 3:53 p.m.
Smith, and I do have a couple of questions for you. The first one involves the December 2nd accident that you were just talking about in 2019. And where was that accident?
I would need to look at my
2019.
report to get the exact address. I have it up here. I was at Franklin
This-
Street.
And that's right around the clinic at Franklin?
It is in the general area, yes.
Okay. And the one at on 1129, where was that?
That was South Wilson and Benton Street.
Okay. Is that near a Burger King?
It is not far, I believe, approximately half a mile, I would guess.
Okay. And on the, I don't mean to skip back and forth, so I'll stick with the November 29.
I hate
you
this
don't have a specific
lawyer.
recollection of how you talked to people, right?
Not specifically, no.
Whether who was inside the car, who was outside the car when you talked to them, right?
No.
But if people were inside the car, you probably would walk up to the car and talk to them, right?
Yes, that's generally what I do.
Okay. And you saw the 2 boys in the back?
I saw two boys there. I don't remember if they were inside the vehicle or outside the vehicle.
Okay. And when adults are driving around when anybody is driving around with children in the car, you recall that you were given the ages of the children, right?
Yes.
The one was over a year?
Again, I would have to look at the report for the.
And I meant to say under a year.
It's a note to know what the dates are, what their birth dates are as of the date. Yes, one would be under a year or approximately that age.
And when adults are driving around with a child, like one, that child is to be in a baby, right?
Yes.
And if the child is not a baby,
Generally, it's against the law and would be up to the officer's discretion to issue a summons for that or not.
okay. And the second child was under 3?
Approximately.
And what are the restraints to be on a child under 3?
Also in a car seat.
And how about a child of 5?
Again, I'm 5 years old. I'm not sure. I need to look at the exacts, but I believe it's any child under a certain size also would need a car seat.
Okay. And at the very least, I think it's under 12 has to be over 18.
Yes.
And so you were aware of 2 children, right?
Yes.
And you had no concerns about their restraints, the child seat.
From what I remember, I did not.
By the way, I did say that the 1129 was outside. We said, I believe, outside Vinton and Wilson. The 12-2 was outside the clinic.
Correct.
And the 12-2 outside the clinic was 10:43.
Approximately, yes.
Okay, still morning hours.
Yes.
And the 11:29 was in the afternoon, 3:53 4-ish.
Correct.
Still light out, right?
For that time of year, yes.
Okay. Now, you also said that you gathered pertinent information about the driver in the car, like the license, registration, insurance.
Correct.
And Mr. Montgomery had a license, right?
He provide me an official license.
Okay. And as far as you can tell, it was valid, right?
Yes.
Because otherwise, there would have been a problem there too, right?
Yes, another thing I do is I will have dispatch do a driver's license status of any individuals who are
Okay, so I'm sorry, I was just jotting down for the book.
So then on the
So,
accident on the second,
Harmony
there were
has
only people in the front seats of the car, no one in the
a
back seat.
spot.
That's what I documented. I don't recall the specifics of the vehicle, but that's what I documented.
Okay.
And
again,
since
whether you
we've
parked
been
the driver
following
inside
this
the car or
case, I
outside the
might
car,
as well do.
Yes.
And if the passenger was inside the car, you would walk out to the passenger side.
I might as well. We've been going over her case. We've been going over this trial. We do know a lot of stuff in this case.
You didn't see any
We
boys
do
in the car?
know that the fucker Adam.
Oh yeah, seating on the. I'm sorry.
I better
I'm going
keep
back again.
that just in case
On 1129, you specifically
people
documented
want to
seating.
talk shit about me.
And Seamus was
Anywho, we do know this guy on both occasions of the car accident
on one side, Seamus on the other, and then you would have
did
noticed
not
or been told
see
it was on the other side, right?
Correct.
Harmony.
Thank you. Any objections to that? No. Sit down, you're excused. Can you call us next witness?
We'll give Harmony a little kitty cat sticker thing. I'm gonna write Harmony's name on here. Let's go with a purple pen.
Please raise your right hand, sir. You solemnly swear that the testimony you give this jury will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes, sir. Thank you. Please feel free to have a seat.
We're gonna give her a kitty cat label.
And then spell both your first and your last name for the record.
It's Matthew Gendron, Matthew Gendron.
And Mr. Gendron, what town are you currently living in?
Manchester.
How long have you lived here in Manchester?
About 12 years or so.
And right now, are you working?
Yes, sir.
What type of work do you do in general?
I work in a restaurant.
How long have you been doing that kind of work?
Most of my life, but I've been at my current job for close to 5 years now.
Let me ask, at one point in 2019, did you ever work at the Dunkin' Donuts?
Yes, sir.
This guy makes me mad because he didn't see Harmony being transported.
Adam Montgomery.
Yes, sir.
And with regards to Adam Montgomery, do you know who his wife is?
Gail Montgomery?
Did you meet her there as well?
Yes, sir.
Fucking makes me mad, you guys.
There with Adam Montgomery and Gail Montgomery.
Probably around a year or so.
How long overall did you work at Dunkin' Donuts?
I think I worked there 2 years.
Did you get the job, or were you working there when Adam Montgomery started working there, or was he working there when you got there?
He was already employed when I got there.
And what about Caleb Montgomery?
Same.
Same thing. All right. Did you ever hang out with Adam Montgomery?
A few times.
And did you ever friend him on Facebook?
Yes, sir.
Did you send messages back and forth to each other?
Yep.
And back in 2019, how often would you guys talk to each other?
I try to initiate conversation every week or so.
Were you still working at Dunkin' Donuts when Adam Montgomery stopped working at Dunkin' Donuts?
Yes. Yes, sir. That is Adam Montgomery? Yes, sir. a Facebook chat with myself and Adam Kale.
See, there you go.
Correct.
We're gonna get into
Regards to
this.
the conversation that you had there. Do you remember that conversation?
Yes.
Remember having looked at those images at the time that you received them?
Yes.
Other than the fact that they're on paper and there's no words stickered down the bottom of the first page, any sort of alterations or changes to those images compared to when you saw them when you first got this message?
That's my knowledge.
Are they accurate in terms of the time and date that you remember getting this message from?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, is it no check out? Without checking.
This is how you do true crime, guys. This is how you do your case notes. You go over every. This is how you keep a notebook. Okay, this is how you keep a case book.
So back in, let's go ahead to
And this
December
is
8th,
sad. This one is all kids. This is every.
And well, with regards
This
to
is why I started. This is why. This is why I'm here.
different restaurant. You're at a different restaurant. Okay, so you're no longer working with the
Is
defendant.
to go over all the. This is in my area.
I want to go ahead and draw your attention to
Most
page
of this
one
is in my
11.
area.
And
Of
with regards to
babies
that,
murdered.
what you're seeing on the screen behind you, can you just confirm what that
Unalive.
is? It's 11. And I'd like to go ahead and ask you about the conversation
So,
itself. First of all, what time did you get these messages on?
This is why I'm
specifically
here.
on the 8th.
To
When did they
give
start
these
appearing?
babies a
After midnight?
name.
After midnight on the 8th?
And
And specifically, what time did you first get the very first message here? 12:13 a.m. It says 12:13 a.m.
if people wanna
With
make
regards to
up
that,
lies,
could
that's
you- Could
fine.
you go ahead and please read that message for us, the message that you received at 12:13 a.m.? I need help ASAP.
I hate this
Please need a
tape
number. Don't miss number,
dispenser.
ASAP. And
Never
separate from
get
that,
a
did you get another message
unicorn.
right afterwards, or excuse me, shortly thereafter? Yes. And what time did you get that second message? 12:58. And what was the message that you got back? It says, I need a jump. My car died. People sleeping in our car, and our battery just died. Now, separate from that, did
People
you
know
then
my
start
channel.
responding back to
People
messages
know
Facebook
who I
messages?
am.
Yes. Right. And what did you write? I don't have any cables. And then,
So this
what's the next message that
guy
you received in this conversation? This is Kayla.
didn't have a way to help
With
them.
regards to that message at that point, when it says this is Kayla, who do you believe now has the phone? I believe it was Kayla. That was a joint account they had together. Okay. In general, when you receive messages from
We
this
only
account,
got a
you can
couple
tell
more
who was from,
minutes
whether it was
left
from
because I have to get dressed and
And what about with regards to how they wrote, the type of words that they used? Did you notice
go to
that?
this shitty ass job
What's the response
that
that you wrote back after that?
don't
You
pay
received a message about who
nothing.
literally died.
I'm gonna have to
You said,
get.
I think I have to work tomorrow.
I'm
What's
gonna
even open
do.
where I
Get
can-
back on
So,
Indeed.
to clarify, at this point when you're writing, you said I don't have cables. Yes. So you didn't have cables.
I could try to ask for a raise,
You
but
say when you move on about having to get up early for work tomorrow, you asked where they were. Is that right? Yeah. Right. Why did you ask that question? I was just curious as to where they wanted me to drive all around to an hour.
I've only been there since April.
What's the response you got to that? It's okay, Matt. I don't know what's what is open. I'm sorry. That IDKs, I mean, I don't know.
Was
right?
it
I don't
after
know, yeah.
April?
And what did you say back? It's not your fault. I
No,
just don't
since
have cables.
April.
It's not the right. No, it's open. And so at that time of night, did you know it was
Ish.
open or not?
No, maybe
Yes,
not
yes,
since
yes, yes,
April.
sorry, because the microphone's
It's
connected.
probably more like
I wonder if you could go ahead and turn to page 2 now and walk us through the next part of this conversation that you're having. After that, you said you didn't know what was open. What message did you
find
start
out.
on the account? I think either if mobile
paperwork
don't have it, no
somewhere.
place.
And we
is
got
Amber's Walmart.
snow coming in
So I know you need to
Ohio.
get out early.
It's
Have a
lightly
night, sorry.
snowing
You said
outside.
get out early, is that what you
So
read? That looks
if
like
you
a really
guys
nice
want
certainly, you say that the type of things here is different.
if you want to know
So,
anything about this cases, you guys can go back to my previous videos,
And so,
watch
when you respond
them,
back when they say, I'm sorry.
learn about them.
It's okay,
There's tons of babies, so
Let me
be
just-
trigger warning.
Say it's okay, try to have a good
If
night.
you go
And
back
what's
and
the
look
response
at
that you
this
got back after
case
that?
book,
I'm gonna try. You can die
there's a
this way.
lot of them
We
in
can't,
here that
right?
have
We can just
very sad things happen to them.
CILD, are we reading that already? Okay. And then Colonial Village, and Kimmy said she has jumper cables. Looking at that first line, I'm gonna try, can we die in this weather?
Just be
And then
careful.
we, how does they spell the next word after we?
If you have any questions about a case, you can email me.
Right, we can just.
It's at the Yahoo account. I haven't checked it in a long time.
That works, cool.
Um,
And then the
but
line
I
afterwards.
knew I
And
did
you know,
want to
Colonial
get
Village,
back
Kimmy
in there,
said she has jumper
and
cables. Who's Kimmy? Do you know who Kimmy is? Kimberly Frame?
I had
Are
to.
you Facebook friends with her? Yep, I also work with her as
Each
well.
baby gets. I usually go back and put stickers in them.
With regards to that, I'm asking, go ahead and flip over to page 3 now.
I'm gonna have to go back and give stickers to Harmony.
You said, can Jimmy, yeah, sorry, can Kimmy jump you? Is that correct? Did I say that?
Hopefully,
You don't have a car.
I just
That's
can't
fine.
believe these people did not know. I mean, we
It's
have
actually spelled. Is that spelled? You don't have.
two cops detectives that didn't see Harmony. The one cop said he didn't see Harmony on both occasions.
She don't have her car, that's why they're messaging everyone. What was the next
2
thing?
accidents, 1 cop.
Why I not want to do that? What did you interpret that to me? I mean, do you not want to do that? And what did you write back? I don't really feel like running all over the place at this hour of the night.
1 cop.
You tried 24-hour road assistance thing?
2.
What were you suggesting to them? You said 24-hour road like AAA or one of those type of services, I guess? Have you ever used that service in the past? I didn't have it at the time, but I have used it since. Oh, that's what I meant. I'm sorry, I have used it since. And did you find that they do have that ability to be able to jump car? If you could go ahead and take us through the next part of your conversation. What did they respond after you suggested that they try to find somebody who could do the jump service?
And Harmony's mom.
Our car died today. I'm assuming his friend is letting us stay in his. It's all good, Matt. Don't worry about it. I just don't want to freeze tonight. I've messaged everyone else. So, again, some of those words misspelled. Correct. And when you were just reading for us, is that your interpretation of those misspellings? Yes, sir. All right. And what did they say after saying we've messaged everyone else? N-O-O-B-E, I'm assuming means nobody has cables or nobody has their cars. Spell cats, but interpreted as cars, correct. With regards to that, what did you say back to when they said nobody has cables and nobody has cats? What did you write back? I get all that. Roadside assistants can't jump a car. They have helped me before.
Yes, but you just have to have the policy number.
So, when you write that back to them, what's the response that you got? Yeah, no one of us has insurance. Don't worry about it, man. What time was that final message that day? 1:53 a.m.
They do ask for insurance, I do believe. Sometimes they do ask for insurances. I'm not sure if that's like, everywhere, but
Let me ask, did you
I do know
say, maybe a month later, in January 2020,
that they
did
do
you have
ask
Facebook messages from Adam Montgomery or
for
any other
the
discussions
policy
about what
number,
happened that night?
and
To my
I
knowledge.
do believe
At any point in time, did
they
you have,
ask for your
have a conversation with Adam
licenses.
Montgomery with regards to you not responding that night? Also, not to my memory, not your memory. No, I haven't. Okay. We just have a moment, please. One final question for you. In regards to the time that you were asked to go ahead and provide a job and you had this conversation with the defendant, with regards to that, at that time, did you know where he was living? I did not. And were you ever made aware that he was homeless at that time? That was the first time I found out. When did you find out? Well, during that message that they're living in their car, I had no idea. All right, thank you, Mr. Gentleman. I don't have any further questions for you. I believe
He had no idea that they were living in their car. This guy didn't. But you worked with him. You didn't know that? He didn't tell you? I don't believe that. I do not believe that. I do not believe that he did not know that they were living out of his car. He said that he did not know that they were living in their car. But you're supposedly be your so-called co-worker. My co-workers know if I'm going through something. I don't like to tell them, but they just know. Even certain customers that I see every day.
Please be careful the wires as you walk. Thank you.
I gave her a couple for now because I know I do have to try to be at work on time. I hate this gas station. I hate it because it's so dangerous.
And Mr. Sweeney, what city do you currently reside? Manchester, New Hampshire. How long have you been living here?
So this guy's another.
Okay. And are you currently working? And where do you work? DJ's, right here in Manchester. And what shift?
Okay, babe, I'll check
So let me
it.
ask you, it's about 9:55. How long have you been up? I actually told out
So,
last night.
ah, shit. Sorry. So this guy also did not see harm me at none of those
Is there any
times.
reason you need me to restate your question or anywhere to restate the question? Just let us know. We'll be glad to do it. Okay. All right. With regards to your work for BJ, how long have you been working for them? Almost a year. And prior to that, back in 2019, what sort of job did you have back then?
Dunkin' Donuts. Oh no.
And were you doing for a company called Auto City Towing? Yes. I'd like to ask you about a particular tow back on December 7th of 2019.
This is the tow truck driver.
Around 12:52 in the afternoon. Do you remember that tow? A little bit, not fully. Okay. Well, let me ask you, when you go ahead and you tow a car, can you kind of explain to the jury what sort of procedures that you go through when you're making the tow? Our office just called one of the drivers and we're handed a piece of paper saying where we're going and what it's for, and we just proceed to the location. What about when it's a vehicle that has broken down? Is there a way that Manchester Police Department might dispatch you out for a tow? Yeah, they call our tow company and then our guy at the front desk dispatches us out, unless the individual themselves call for a tow. Yeah. Go straight to our front desk, and then we're handed a piece of paper, and then we go over to the scene. 2019 at the intersection of Webster and Elm Street around 12:52 in the afternoon. Do you remember that tow? A little bit, not fully. Okay. Well, let me ask you, when you go ahead and you tow a car, can you kind of explain to the jury what sort of procedures that you go through when you're making a tow? Our office just calls one of the drivers, and we're handed a piece of paper saying where we're going and what it's for, and we just proceed to the location. What about when it's a vehicle that has broken down?
This guy's the one that stated he's seen two guys were taking stuff out of the car.
Unless the individual themselves call for a tow.
He pulled over at a gas station.
Go straight to our front desk, and then we're handed a piece of paper, and then we go over to the scene. When you get to a scene for a tow, what are some of the very first things that you do, just generally? Just contact whatever vehicle's involved and find out what's going on and where it's going. And from there, when you do have to use a tow, what kind of tow truck are we talking about? Flatbed. Flatbed, yes. And could you go ahead and please explain to the jury what's the process you have to go through to put a car onto a flatbed, as compared to, say, putting on a car where you're just kind of putting two wheels up and the back two wheels rolling? We just get in a good spot, we hook it up and we pull it up. That's it, really. And what about when you have to do documentation of this tow? How do you document the tow that you're doing? We have a separate tow slip, like the drivers use, and we just write like general information on it.
And again, Adam's not in court. I'm gonna stick this here for now. So approximately at 12:52 is what I wrote down for when he thinks he had went.
Yes, okay. And let's go ahead and start with State's Exhibit. Page 6 of State's Exhibit 3C. How do you recommend?
So tomorrow I don't have to do anything besides go to the grocery store, get all that shit. I hate going to the grocery store. So tomorrow I'll just have to do that. But tomorrow we'll come live. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I don't know what time in the morning, depending if I have a migraine. Every time I get ready to go do this case, I get a fucking migraine. So tomorrow we'll go over more. I have this chart I want to show you guys. I want to go over that. I want to go over more statistics of what it can do to people, what's, just things that correlates with all these abuse type things. So tomorrow we're going to go over that, and we're going to follow along more with this case. But as we know, it's like the jury's going to be able to put it together that, look, Harmony, I think Harmony was unalived prior. I think she's in that vicinity somewhere. I think this little girl has such a hard life. Oh my gosh, you guys. So, let's just pray we can get Harmony justice. Let's pray that Harmony will get justice, and this guy will fry in hell. Maybe when he gets to prison, he'll get the life knocked out of him. But that wouldn't even bring justice to Harmony, I don't think, or the family. So maybe. But thank you everybody who came and watched Truthseeker today. I appreciate you. Thank you for all who commented, liked the video, leave me some comments. Alaska was the highest state. So I love you all. Be kind. Be safe, because everywhere it's snowing. So if you're in a cold state like me, try to stay warm. And I'll see you all later. Bye.